Hi, everybody. Michael Fisk, Tri-State Live on Facebook, May 30th. 1 o'clock Joplin time. I think this is live. We'll give it a quick minute for people to get logged on. Kyle Smith, what's going on? Good to see you. If anybody has problems hearing me, please let me know. Like I said, we'll give it a couple of seconds here for people to get logged on. As we do so, typical safety message: if you're driving, please do not engage, with us. But yeah, for those of you that are stopped, at home or rest stop or taking a break or whatever, please send in any questions or comments. There's going to be a lot of subject matters, that we've had some new pay plan, lots of successes, but a few frustrations out there, with the new pay plan. I know owner operators continue to have concerns, about the rates, out there, that kind of stuff. I mean, it's again, I just ask that the questions be appropriate. Make sure it's not too personal, right? I mean, if you ask me, hey, why did I, have, what happened on this load from Monday, whatever. Yeah, listen, I'm not going to get into that, right? But if you have a good general question, that everybody, be valuable, to and everything, happy to discuss and engage and. At least share whatever thoughts or whatever I have, specific to that, type of thing. But, Jacob, hi, Kyle, Melissa, Martha, good to see you guys. We'll give it just another 10, 15 seconds here. Let some others, jump on. This is, Facebook changes, it seems like each time. And normally I can tell how many people we have engaging, but I don't see where that is recording right now. Tony Gentry, hi, thanks for the thumbs up, there. So, okay, well, we'll go ahead and get going here. Start with some softball stuff here first. We had our annual safety blitz, I don't know, a few weeks ago, golly, maybe it's been a month ago now. Kudos to everybody. I mean, it's we never go through it unscathed, but we, for our fleet our size, and what we do and everything, I think Andy, Bradford, Director of Safety, and Donnie, our VP of Safety, I think we were pretty happy with overall results. We had a couple of issues, I know, with hours of service because of some technical, difficulties, but, that ultimately won't, shouldn't hurt, our drivers or, us on that. Otherwise, we had a couple of, things but we had hundreds of good, clean, inspections that came through. So, thank you and kudos to everybody, for that. I will say that while we're on the subject, our hazmat scores is a bit of a concern. I mean, it's and again, it's we do more hazmat than perhaps any other company, trucking company, in the country. And maybe that's not exactly true. There are some big private fleets, of like Clean Harbors, that kind of stuff. Presumably, they or 100%, hazmat, related freights, but for higher fleet, over the road, it's, golly, I mean, everything that we do, and it's just really difficult, when we're, measured against other, like-sized companies. I don't know if you guys know how CSA works, but, there's supposed to be an algorithm that, judges, everything fairly, but, we are 99%, hazmat, type of thing. And if they compare us to other, typical, companies our size, they may be 4% hazmat, right? And so, it's so in that way, it's not really apples to apples, but it is what it is. We don't make excuses. We just literally have to be perfect in order to control, our certain aspects of our CSA score. So that's a request to you. I mean, it's, golly, I mean, we got to figure out how to be perfect. If you have any questions about placarding, if you have any questions about the load, or anything like that, please raise your hand and use all the resources we have. We do really, really well. I mean, we're 98 point whatever percent, perfect, on our load count. But that, one or two violations a month, adds up, type of thing, so we do need to be hyper focused on that. Andy is probably going to, introduce, a program, for special focus, on that. Daniel and Ginger, hi from California. Speaking of that as well, I think if you haven't gotten the safety shirts yet, but we have a new safety shirt that I think Chelsea and Andy shared, some time ago. Hopefully you've got that, by now. Again, it's there's some additional training that was requested from our customers, and we appreciate you guys making the effort, on that. And hopefully, if you don't have those safety shirts by now, you should. And if someone tell me if you haven't received your safety shirt, in the mail yet, and I'll double check on that. But I'm pretty sure, that had been sent out. Thank you to Chelsea and Andy, for that. I mean, the design on that was pretty cool, and again, I mean, it's I am aware, of the extra, requests that we asked our drivers to do, for some safety training. But again, that's a request of our customers, and hopefully those shirts, turned out pretty well. So, Angela, no safety shirt for you, and that's yeah. Let me check on what's going on, with that. Speaking of safety, and everything. We had some non-preventable challenges that were weather-related. Thank goodness our drivers were safe, through that. But there's some tornadoes, challenges that. Golly, that tornado season seems to get longer and longer. I grew up in Central Illinois, and it's weird how tornadoes work. I mean, we had this little shed. In the back part of our, 2-acre lot, piece of property. And that shed would be taken out by a tornado, it seems like every other year. And so you're probably thinking to yourself, well, dummy, stop building your shed there. And that's reasonable, conclusion to make. But, I remember, a tornado coming through and knocking out the shed. But, the little hibachi girl in the lawn chair sitting out the patio, completely fine, type of thing, right? I mean, it's, there's one storm, I remember getting on the bus and picking up our, going through the route, and this, kid that, had this 3 massive pine trees in front of his house. And I remember they're all 3 just sheared off about, 5 feet above the ground. It's just like someone came through with these massive, clippers and just clipped them, about 5 feet off the ground. It's just the craziest thing, I ever saw. So, tornadoes can be tough. If you have any recommendations on some good, weather apps that you use, feel free to share them, on here, or you send me an email and we'll have JD send it out on her weekly, forecast email on Mondays. But yeah, with the weather out there, there's a lot of great tools. I mean, I do a lot of boating, and when you go out in the Gulf and fishing and stuff, I mean, it's, rely on good weather apps to avoid the storms and everything. So, I assume, drivers, have access to good weather apps and everything too. But, be careful out there, right? It's not worth your, physical harm. So if you're aware of a tornado alley, that's brewing up, just communicate well, and we'll navigate around that, the best we can, type of thing. But yeah, certainly, avoid that situation if you can. Michael Inacker, yeah, like I said, it seems like maybe the safety shirts have not gone out yet, so let me see what's going on, there. Joseph Lapuma, Raindar, okay, thank you for that recommendation. And then Jake Moffitt, My Radar is awesome. Okay, and that's what Joseph refers to as well. So anyway, yeah, any other good weather radar apps, that you guys recommend, please share that, with us here. I want to share that I'm going to be in Joplin next week. It is, close to the anniversary of when we tragically lost Courtney Johnson. Many of you know her as your personal recruiter, and if she wasn't your recruiter, then you remember her, as a recruiter for many years, with Tri-States. It was just over a year ago now that she was on her way home from work, and she was rear-ended by another truck driver, right on the I-44. Not far, from the terminal. And so it is the year, anniversary coming of that. We are dedicating, we have a committee led by Sarah and Chelsea, in the recruiting department, where with the great help of Greg, in maintenance. If you guys know Greg, very talented, and Bruce Jones and several members of his staff. They've built essentially a sitting area, a gazebo, type thing, out by the pond. Then we're going to be dedicating to, to Courtney's, memory, but also to, other drivers, and not just drivers, but employees, that we've lost, that while they're employed with Tri-States. Just in the past year, we've had a couple of long-term drivers, that passed away, at home. I'm thinking of Norm Johnson and Randall Knickerbocker, and through the years we've lost other co-workers, and friends and so forth. And so if you happen to be, in Joplin, that time, I think next Saturday, we've invited the family, and we are going to be, commemorating, this gazebo sitting, structure, out by the pond, there in the Joplin terminal, there. But, again, it's just a reminder to all of us, and especially, to our drivers, the work that you do matters. It's not just the freight, but how you do it matters, doing it safely. It's, there, we literally, are the caretakers, of society, out there. So look after for each other, look after, one another, and, so just, keep Courtney and others, in your thoughts, if you would, over the next week and, a couple of weeks, there. So, Dave Baker, Windy.com, I've heard of that app, and yeah, I think, I've used that app myself, that is a pretty good app. Chelsea, I think, is responding. Shirts were mailed out 5/22, so just over a week ago. Okay, so yeah, yeah. Well, good timing then. So it sounds like your next home time and that kind of stuff. You'll probably have your shirts at home. Thank you, Chelsea, for that update. There. So, Joseph, yeah, I was Joseph's recruiter 10 years ago this September. No, that's awesome. That's I just started. I started in operations, and I just took over recruiting about that time. Joseph, you were one of my first recruits. September was my first month, actually. So I just had my 10-year anniversary here too. So yeah, I remember you very well. There. So anyway, so the. Yeah, lots continue to go on. It's for those of you who are following trucking, it's chaos out there. It's private companies, we don't get good information, about them, right? But public trucking companies, they have to share. And trucking is struggling. It's there's a lot of shrinkage in fleets. Freight is down. It's election years, there's theories, that tends to, bring economic, instability, type of thing. It's, a lot of retailers have announced that they are slashing prices because things just are not moving, right? It's, inflation is high, so people aren't spending as much money, the COVID, the free money, out there in COVID. That, I don't know about you, I didn't get much of that free money, but apparently a lot of people got, the free COVID money, has gone away, type of thing, so there is a correction, happening. I don't observe, any reason for a real panic, but things are more expensive, so discretionary income is dropping. We're seeing, home building, slow down, commercial real estate, slow down, retail is dropping, type of thing. I mean, it's, our economy is predicated on 2 or 3 points of growth, each month, each year, type of thing. And and so even if you see 1% growth, that's not enough. I mean, it's our economy is predicated on 2, 3, 4% of growth, and then when you have negative growth, whether it's in the economy overall or specific industries, then it has a real impact. Well, we're not FAK, right? I mean, we're not in the toilet paper, dog food, Ashley furniture business or whatever. However, all of that impacts us. Okay, I mean, it's on the Hasway side, for example. I mean, it's if there's less, aerosol cans, if there's less oil being, waste oil, if there's less, whatever, just general consumption being done, well, there's less waste. Type of thing, right? So, on the DoD side, say, well, why does that affect DoD rates? And I think there was a misconception that once the government passed the Ukraine and Israel bill and everything, well, that military spending is going to go up and DoD spending will go up, and we didn't necessarily anticipate that. I mean, it's for a couple of reasons. One, it's we have great analytics. And so we're well aware of how much, overall, shipping is going on with the Department of Defense. I mean, 2022 was a great year for everybody, right? It might interest you to know that 2023, 2024, DoD shipping volume has not changed that much. I mean, it's, the amount that the DoD shipped in 2022, they're still shipping that same amount. So what has changed? How come the rates have changed? And the answer is a simple matter of supply and demand. Tri-State is still doing percentage-wise about the same amount of freight that we did in 2022. I mean, it's but we have to fight for it. In 2022, there weren't a lot of trucks available, to move the freight. 23, there's a lot more trucks available. In 2024, there's even more trucks available. And think about what happens. Who are our competitors? I mean, we know the Bennett's, we know the Landstar's, we know the FedEx's, Baggett's, and everything. Listen, when we all have customers to service and customer contracts, that we're obligated to, there's a percentage of your fleet, that just has to go to, service the commercial, contracts, and so forth. But again, as we talked about, when the industry overall is struggling, when there's less retail, when there's less, trucking, overall, well, all of that floods to DoD. So even though the DoD, volume is largely the same and everything, I apologize. Hold on 1 second here. There. So, is that okay? It's that's my dog, here. So. Anyway, and I am, from home, today here. So, anyway, it's there's a lot more capacity in the space now than there has been, and so that's driving down rates. I mean, everybody, wants to keep their trucks busy. Everybody wants to keep moving. And and I don't know that I can share the exact numbers with you, but it is significantly more. I mean, think of 2 or 3, 4x the amount of capacity now than there was, type of thing. So that's what's going on, and I know that there's a lot of concern, especially amongst our owner operators that specifically relying on rates. Well, those things, same things impact us, right? I mean, it's not like Tri-State is keeping more rates type of thing. I mean, it's those rates are pretty open and available out there, and it impacts all of us type of thing. So anyway, just kind of want to explain, a bit of what's going on out there. I mean, it's I know that one of our competitors in particular is making some promises, to our drivers and reaching out. And all I can encourage you is make the best decisions for you and your family. Okay, I mean it's that's always going to be my encouragement to you. If you have specific questions or concerns or comments that you want addressed, feel free to reach out and we'll discuss it, type of thing. But there is no magical answer to say, well, 2022, I made this much money and this year I'm making less, fix it. We'd love to fix it, okay, but the industry and the economy, drives, a lot of the decisions that we're able to make, so anyway, feel free to, to reach out. I'd encourage you to not believe every promise, that, that's made out there, especially in the DoD world. We see everything and they can see, what we do as well. I mean, that's part of the pricing process, with the government. I mean, it's all open and, and transparent, there. We continue to have, like I said, the highest, percentage of freight, that is available there. We continue to be the leaders. Kelsey, Macy and her team does a phenomenal job of paying attention to the rates and making the changes, as necessary, whatever to be competitive, there. But like I said, it's, this is a unique environment. It's cyclical. For those of you who've been in trucking for 10, 15 years, you understand the cycles and you've seen the cycles and the rhythms before, a year or two or three, we'll get back to where we were, 2022, type of thing. But this is just all normal part of trucking. So, Joseph, it's doing a lot more broker, FAK, tanker, and flatbed stuff this year. Again, it's we've got different levers to pull, and we pull the levers, to keep our trucks running. And let me just touch on that. We are very healthy, and when I say we're very healthy, I think it's like, well, golly, it's Tri-State is healthy, and everything. What does healthy mean? The public, companies, the JB Hunts, who normally run at 85 OR, I think they're running like a 96 OR, right now, type of thing. The Knights, Swifts, it's, who are in the FAK world really struggling, type of thing. The specialized freights, the specialized companies, that, doing the windmills and doing the, again, DOD and all they're all really struggling. They're much more so than Tri-State is. It's, is our, margins going to be as great as it was 2 years ago? No, it's not. But we're still very healthy. We're still very profitable. It's, and a lot of companies, most companies are not very healthy and are not very profitable right now. So, Joseph, why do we do more broker, FAK, tanker, and flatbed? Well, those are levers that are available to us. Still pays a decent rate, more than the FAK toilet paper, whatever, type of thing. It keeps our trucks, running. We're able to fill the deadhead miles, better, with the broker FAK, so forth. So again, we have a lot of talented people working very hard, Kyle and his planning group, Sarah and her CSR group, like I mentioned, Kyle Macy and her pricing group, type of thing. It's, we pull all the levers that we can, just to get the best rates that we can, and so forth. But, it's our customers participate in that, and the industry participates in that, and the economy participates in that. Okay. Martha, I don't care what we haul as long as we are moving and making a few dimes. And that's a little bit of our philosophy. It's, because of the endorsements and the qualifications of our drivers, typically we're able to stay in the specialized freight. But again, each time we make a mistake in that specialized, market, and it can just be one mistake, it changes that. Don and Sam and Andrew, those who work with our customers, they have a high standard for us, right? And so, if we have a challenge where, we don't follow proper process and procedure exactly, they come to us and say, hey man, we want to drop your rates. You promised us, A++ rated service, and we're just getting A- service right now, and so we're going to drop the rates. So everything that everybody does, impacts all of those kind of things. And fortunately, we have great relationships. I mean, Don, like I said, and his teams, Sam and Leslie and Brian and Dave. I mean, it's we work really tightly and closely with our customers. But each service failure, I mean, it's our customers go back and say, hey, wait, what's going on? Why are we paying the premium rate? Type of thing. I mean, it's and there's those premium rates. No other company out there is increased driver wages for company drivers like we have. Okay, and so our company drivers, you get complacent, and it's going to have an impact, right? I mean, it's so all of this is interconnected. Our drivers is our largest, employee base. That we have. You're the ones that interact with the customers the most. You're the one where the rubber meets the road. There. So we want to compensate you well. I believe we compensate you. Well, and again, I know with the new pay plan, there's a few drivers that say, wait a second, this didn't work out great for me, type of thing. The vast majority received a pretty significant increase. But we do have to focus on, okay, what is the endorsements and the capabilities of the truck, and so on so forth. So it's not 100%. I get it, but I probably in the 95% range. It certainly benefited, for the new pay plan. So. Anyway, Daniel, Ginger, we're all good. Keep it rolling. Appreciate your supports, and Martha, your support and kind words. And that, again, experienced truckers understand this is just cyclical. This is part of the process. There. So, Joseph, I like it. Keeps things interesting, and yeah, that's part of it too. And I'd say this, Joseph. I mean, it's I remember your recruiting process wasn't necessarily easy. As I recall, there was a couple of challenges that we have, but Joseph, you've been tremendous for us, and we're grateful for you. It's and your abilities and your willingness to do a lot of things, certainly helps, us to be able to pull the different levers of different types of freight and everything. So, Terry, Reagan, what do y'all pay her drivers? Well, that's a good question. Contact one of our recruiters, there, and they'll get into that. But the easy answer is, if you're a DoD, team, you're $2,300 a week. If you're not a DoD team, you're $2,000 a week in hazmat, team, type of thing. If you're solo, you're $1,500 a week. I mean, it's fairly, simple, to that, type of thing. But, there's, obviously, some nuance sometimes, to that, there. So the final thing that I just want to touch on here is, just kind of give you an update on the annual bonus. I think there was some misunderstanding that with the new pay plan, the annual bonus went away. That's not true. The annual bonus is, I think, an important part of what we do. Okay, I mean, it's our drivers, again, are the most valuable employee that we have. It really is, and Russ would say that, our president, CEO. I think I'm pretty important, I mean, it's, and I'm saying that. Kyle Smith is, is pretty darn important. Sarah, Stern, they're all important. Our drivers are more important. You guys are the ones that generate the revenue, okay? So, our office staff, gets, bonuses. So should our drivers, and so I'll just give you an update. In the month of May, we paid out a total of $155,000 in annual bonuses, and that's it. I don't know exactly how many drivers. That looks to be about roughly about 20 drivers. Our number one bonus was $9,600. To one driver, and so many of these are company teams. A lot of them are in the 6,000 range, 7,000 range, 5,000 range, type of thing. So combined, if you're a husband-wife team, type of thing. I mean, it's I'm looking at a team here. They got $13,000 combined, type of thing. And listen, saving is hard. I mean, it's it is more expensive, and sometimes we get stuck in the rut of living paycheck to paycheck. But having a lump sum, I mean, it's we hear great stories. It's a down payment on a house. type of thing. It's, it's a college education, it's a dream vacation, it's a new vehicle, or a down payment on a new vehicle. It's have that lump sum amount. I think is a tremendous thing. But the annual bonus is important. It is still certainly in place. Each mile that you generate, each mile that you run, contributes to that. So your miles still matter. There. I mean, it's again, I mean, if you ever want an update on that, it should be on your app, RMG Connect. But you can also call into your DM and they can give you an update, on what's going on. I think the highest individual, bonus I've seen is over 15,000, and I think that was a team, so that's combined 30,000, to a household, there. So anyway, it's just wanted to let you know that is still in place. I mean, some of you obviously received it this month, last month, but you'll continue to receive it in the following month. So I don't see any other questions or comments. They're again, appreciate all of you. I mean, it's I hope that the financial instability is not impacting you as much as it is other companies. Other industries. I mean, it's I have a couple of friends that recently got laid off. That outside of trucking, there's it's I read the trucking news, and it seems like every week there's 2 or 3, filing bankruptcy or whatever type of thing. Just know the Tri-State is healthy. I mean, it's we make the hard decisions to stay healthy. Type of thing. I mean, it's the 2022s, we all make a lot of money. 2023 and 2024, we make enough money to continue to prosper, type of thing. We are continuing to reinvest. I can tell you that the Tri-State got by far the highest commitment of reinvestment capex. Amongst other companies that I've heard of. Type of thing, it's built on the work of all of us and all of you that we're able to continue to, do these things. We're really well positioned, and, it's just simply, a little rougher now than it was a couple of years ago, but we're weathering it really, really well. So anyway, appreciate all of you. If you have any other individual questions or comments, please feel free to send it to me, directly, michael.fisk@roadmastergroup.com. Appreciate all of you. Thank you.